Hello, thank you for joining me on Cracked Open with Coach Kristin. I am Coach Kristin Fuller, and I coach, guide, lead people into empowering, fulfilling lives that they no longer wish or desire to escape from. So, one of the biggest questions that I get when I'm helping people change their relationship with drugs or alcohol is, how do I get motivated? Every Tuesday night, I teach a free Smart Recovery class. I would love for you to join me. Please ask for the link in the comments and I will be sure to get that to you. Every week, never fails, one of my students asks about how to build and maintain motivation. And so many people offer phrases such as have a vision board or make a values list. And while those are helpful suggestions, they're really missing the mark on what moves the needle with motivation. And one of my favorite tricks that I've used for the past nearly 5 years that I've stayed sober from drugs and alcohol is that it is not about saying, I'm going to stop drinking for 30 days, or I'm going to do yoga every day for 30 days. That is a good place to start. However, that is not what's going to take you there. What's going to take you there is actually shifting it from a goal into your identity. Instead of, I am going to go to the gym 3 days a week. That is a goal. That is up here. That is possibly even on your fridge or on your calendar, and you get to check it off on days you go, and that's great. Does it really give you rocket fuel to keep going? Maybe, maybe not. My guess is if you're tuning in, those old methods aren't really working for you. So I want to share with you the method that I use. I read Atomic Habits by James Clear back when I was studying psychology. So before I even started my healing and recovery journey. So back in 2018, I was studying psychology, ended up getting my degree in psychology, and James Clear, Atomic Habits, was one of the books that we talked about because he has really tuned into how to help people create, manage, and sustain their new healthy habits. And one of his quotes I use in almost every class I teach. And it says, every action that you take is a vote for the person that you wish to become. Therefore, instead of saying, I'm going to the gym 3 days a week, you become an individual that values their health. You become an individual who 3 days a week, you lace up your running shoes and you go to the gym even if you don't feel like it. And bonus points if you stay there for at least 2 minutes. Science tells us that that little primal part of your brain that you hear me talk about a lot, because it comes up a lot when we talk about addiction. So when we're trying to change our relationship with an addictive substance or behavior, it is imperative, it is a must do to change your relationship with how you view yourself. This coincides with a lot of information that's out there in the recovery world. I'm not going to name names. You're familiar with the I am powerless. You are familiar with I am an addict. You are familiar with hello, I am Kristin and I'm an alcoholic. You will never, ever hear me call myself any of the above, even though, yes, I have struggled with alcohol. Yes, I have struggled with prescription pills and stimulants. You will not hear me refer to myself that way because that does not sustain my motivation to stay sober. What sustains my motivation, what ignites me to stay sober is the new identity that I've created for myself as a non-drinker, as a non-stimulant drug user, as a non-prescription pill abuser. When you say the words, I am, your brain listens. It picks it up. So when I have students and clients that are seeking motivation, like I did in class tonight, and I gave them this new way of looking at things, I could see all these light bulbs going on in their brain. Like, oh, I was doing it for my boyfriend, or I was doing it for my kids. And what we know, or simply I was doing it because I put it on the calendar that I was going to go to the gym 3 days a week. When you embody the identity of someone who values their health and values their body, then it makes it very easy to wake up and take an action that is a vote toward that person you wish to become. Another way of looking at this, if you are on a journey that includes trying to change how relationships are in your world, whether they are intimate relationships, friendships, a lot of people that land across my desk, so they want to change their relationship with drugs or alcohol or behaviors. They are accustomed to people pleasing. They are accustomed to being codependent. And those behaviors, while well-meaning for many of us, are actually resulting in changing your sense of self, changing your sense of worth, changing your sense of value. Because while you are engaged in people pleasing or setting up goals that maybe please a family member or a loved one, but aren't really speaking to yourself, then you are missing out on the rocket fuel that is deciding to become the person that can't wait to lace up their shoes. I'll use myself as an example. I'm a certified yoga instructor, but I didn't always practice yoga every day. When I started my recovery journey back in 2020, I came across yoga as a way to move my body because I learned, also studying psychology, that the trauma that is stored in our bodies stays stuck there unless we physically move it out. And one of the best ways I know how for my body is to move it out by practicing different forms of yoga, stretching, kundalini, Tai Chi, and chai tea. If you love chai tea like I do, then by all means, throw it on your becoming list so that you can become someone who drinks chai tea. But you can be a person that loves and respects their body without having to spend hours at the gym. We put these expectations of these lofty new goals that have to be like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours, 5 days a week. Not sustainable for many of us. Or in early recovery, I'm going to stop drinking, stop smoking, and lose 50 pounds all in 30 days. Not attainable. Not attainable. I'm sorry, that is not attainable. And the first thing I say when I have a client land in front of me that wants to tick off all those boxes at first is, I am not the right coach for you. Because what we're seeking is sustainable. What we're seeking is for good. This is a new identity that we are stepping into. If you want to stop drinking, then your action steps, your list, will reflect a non-drinker. It is up to you. If it feels good to you to name all of the reasons why you can't drink, you have a disease, you are powerless. If that makes you feel good and works for you, by all means, I support you. If it's not, then try this way. Going back to someone who's looking for motivation for a recovery journey, think about what you used to do and then literally try on doing the opposite. In my case, every night at dinner time, I would open a bottle of wine and begin to make dinner with the wine, sometimes in the food, sometimes not, but definitely ingested by me. And when I decided that alcohol was no longer for me, I stopped buying wine. I did the opposite. I stopped grocery shopping at the store where I bought the wine. When I started moving my body, I stopped going in the direction of the convenience store at the end of my house. I made it harder to get in between myself and alcohol because I want to change my identity. I don't just want to stop drinking alcohol. I don't want to just be abstinent. I want a wildly passionate, adventurous, fulfilling life that I never desire to escape from again. And that is not available to me by writing a list and checking it off on the fridge. That doesn't excite or energize me like the process of physically becoming my goal, my value, my desire. That is where true fulfillment resides, in the becoming. So I hope that you will try this method and become the person that respects their body and takes it on a walk 3 times a week. I hope that you will listen to this and try on becoming the non-drinker, taking steps every day that are in alignment with this new version of who you get to become. It's exciting stuff. If you would like more guidance on this journey and active practice, homework, that's a fancy way of saying homework that I learned from my coach, then let's talk about working one-to-one. Let's talk about working together and defining, getting excited about, energizing, firing you up for the life that you now never wish or desire to escape from. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.